What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for an in-theater review of Pain and Gain with Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Anthony Mackie, Tony Shaloub, Rob Corddry, Ed Harris, and many others. Okay, want to get into it. I was really excited to see this movie. Went and saw it with two good buddies of mine. We all had some high expectations. I think that was our problem. I want to get into what I thought of it. I think it was a funny movie. There's a lot of like 3 to 5 second good laughs all throughout the movie. Really thought that it was a very okay movie. I thought, Michael Bay, boy, he was drinking a lot of coffee each day on set, man. He just wanted so much stuff happening, all this crazy shit. Well, I don't think it worked. Here's why. The movie was set to be in like the fall of November of 1994 all the way to the summer of 1995. I loved that it was in that time period. I love seeing the mid 90s, how it used to be, because that's when I grew up seeing like different things as a kid. It was really cool to see it in Miami, Florida. I loved how he was at Sun Gym, who was Mark Wahlberg. His character's name was Daniel Lugo. And he was a personal trainer, heavy weightlifter, big on steroid abuse, all that kind of stuff. And he basically turned that whole place around. It used to be more of like a senior citizen hangout, and he turned it over. He quadrupled or tripled his membership in like 3 months, something like that. And it was a really cool happening gym. And he really just became just an absolute monster when he went and saw Ken Jeong's character, Johnny Woo. He was like a motivational speaker, like a Tony Robbins kind of guy, but just a little bit more abrasive. And Ken Jeong, whatever his last name is, I don't know, from Hangover, Mr. Chow. His character was awesome. I loved his character. I thought it was, I guess, a cameo in a way. He was really good. It's just a guy that gets in your face, isn't scared to tell you what to do in life, and says, do whatever you want in life, all this kind of stuff. And Daniel Lugo, he became just a monster after that, thinking, I'm a doer. I'm not a don'ter. I'm a doer. Well, he met this guy named Victor Kershaw at the gym as a client. Victor Kershaw was played by Tony Shaloub. Victor Kershaw was loaded with money. He was a very sharp guy. I mean, he was rich because he was smart. And he was a self-made guy. Well, Daniel Lugo found out that he could make money from him and take all his money and everything just by basically having him notarize all his money over to him. So Daniel Lugo, Mark Wahlberg, decided to get Anthony Mackie's character and this real big muscle guy named Paul Doyle, who was The Rock, to kidnap Tony Shaloub's character. That was their goal, to do that, and to basically get him to notarize the money over to them. And the movie was a really out of control movie. I don't know. Like I said, Michael Bay did Red Bull, shots of Jack, coffee, everything every morning for that entire movie. The movie was just out of control. I thought it was just way too much going on. I couldn't I know it was probably action and all that, and I'm sure that's cool for some people. I just thought it was just too much. I really did. I thought the secondary characters kind of made the movie for me. I thought Mark Wahlberg was okay in it. I don't know. I thought he was all right. I love Mark Wahlberg, one of my favorite actors, but I thought he was okay. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I thought he was the most annoying character. I mean, he played this Jesus follower, and then he wasn't, and he was like a cokehead, then he was a follower again of Jesus, then he was a cokehead, and he was nuts. It was just like what? It was ping pong, back and forth. Dude, I don't know what you are. You kind of Rock, I love you as a real person, but as your character, I thought you were annoying as hell. Anthony Mackie's character, I loved his character. I thought he was so funny. He was so worried about erectile dysfunction in the movie and steroid abuse and trying to get bigger, always asking questions for The Rock, how he got so big. That was very funny. I enjoyed that. I loved Tony Shaloub's character as Victor Kershaw. I loved Rob Corddry's character as John Messi, who was the owner of Sun Gym. And I love Rebel Wilson. I'm not real big on her, but I actually started to like her more. She became Anthony Mackie's nurse/wife eventually in the movie. And Obviously, I loved Ed Harris in that. He was kind of an investigator to try to figure out what was going on with these robberies. I love Ken Jeong's role as Johnny Woo, self-motivator. And another cool thing was, I really think that the guy who played Frank Grisha, the porn guy, whatever, the porn director or producer, his real name is Michael Rispoli. But he was also in Invincible, and I think it's like Mark Wahlberg's like friend, so he kind of like hooked him up with that job, which I thought was really cool. Like Adam Sandler always hooks up like Alan Covert and there's two other guys from Waterboy, the guy with the weird eye and the quarterback. Like he always hooks them up with jobs. So I think he did that for him. I thought that was really cool. And another thing I really liked was Ed Harris's wife. Her name in real life is Emily Rutherford, and you're probably like, I don't know who the hell that is. Well, I was watching her in the movie. I'm like, where the hell have I seen this chick? And I leaned over to my buddy, and I said, that girl was the girl that was in Van Wilder as the real annoying sorority sister that hooks up with Richard, and she is super peppy all the time, even when they were like doing it on the couch and stuff. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my god, that's the annoying chick from Van Wilder. And she was playing like a serious role. It's like, it was goofy for me. And I love the cameo of Peter Stormare, who is the crazy murderer guy from Fargo in Armageddon. You know, he's this doctor guy who was helping Anthony Mackie. I love that. Anyway, those are the main characters and secondary characters I thought mattered. But back to the movie. It was just crazy how they got the money from Victor Kershaw, and they wanted to try to kill him and stuff like that, and they thought they did. And all this stuff happened where he survived, and based on true story and all that. And it was crazy how Victor Kershaw was able to prove that this stuff was just not true, that he actually was attacked and all this stuff, because most of the feds did not believe his story that he was attacked by three bodybuilders, and all this stuff happened, because he eventually proved that it was true that this did happen. I just really thought that was pretty cool how he did that. But I'm telling you, Michael Bay, he just overachieved this movie. He overachieved. He just did too much. I really thought the movie got annoying. My cons in this movie is the movie was too long. It was 2 hours and 9 minutes. It could have easily been an hour and a half. The movie kept going back and forth. Is this about to be over? No, that just happened. Another conflict in the movie, so the movie has to keep going. I thought it could have been easily an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 35 minutes. I thought the movie was too long. The Place Beyond the Pines, I said, was 2 hours and 20 minutes. Well, that was perfect timing for that movie, because it needed that much time. This movie did not need to be past 120 minutes. It did not. Not whatsoever. I thought The Rock was very annoying. Like I said, I thought his character was very annoying. I don't know. I was like, dude, I'm just not into you. It just got to be too much. And there's a part in the movie where The Rock is being chased by the cops, and there is absolutely no way he could have escaped in this part. I don't know how he escaped from the cops. Everyone and their mother that worked for the police in Miami were chasing after him, and he just gets away. And he just shows up at some wedding like 5 minutes later, and he has no toe. It's there's no way you would get away. No way. I didn't like that part at all. And I just thought the movie, like I said, it was a funny movie. There was good 5-second laughs, but it was not a good movie. It was a very okay movie. I just thought it was just they tried too much too soon in that movie. I just didn't like it. Didn't like that part at all. How it was just not a great movie. The pros, though, I will say, I love the mid-90s, seeing that again. That's always, I love that stuff. I love seeing the 80s and 90s when I grew up. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the car that Mark Wahlberg's character drove, this Formula car. It was a two-door, just definite old school, maybe late 80s, early 90s, sports car. Really loved that. I thought that was so cool how he drove that car. Loved seeing the 90s Miami. Thought that was really neat to see that. I loved how all the characters were in Miami Dolphins gear, and they had the fanny packs, which were so popular in the 90s. I loved that. I thought that was exceptional. For my favorite character of the movie, I'm going to say Victor Kershaw, who was Tony Shaloub. He was so dynamic. I believed his role. I thought Mark Wahlberg was just a little bit too much, and I thought The Rock was way too much of an actor. And I know that's their roles, but they just could have acted a little better. Anthony Mackie, he was good, but just not like... Tony Shaloub really took the cake in this movie, in my opinion. I thought he was really, really good. You know, I really believe that he was just in so much like shocked that he was being like robbed, and how he was in so much suffering, and then how he started to like get his mind back in the right place and try to prove to the cops that this really happened. I thought that was really good. You know, and the last thing part, the movie was very funny. It was a funny movie, but it did not make it a good movie. That's the difference. Some movies are so funny, it makes it a good movie. Like The Hangover. That movie is very funny, and it made it a good movie because the characters were just right for the comedy. This movie, had the wrong characters for the comedy that it was sort of like for being a action-packed thriller / comedy. It was a very funny movie, but that comedy of it did not make it a good movie because the plot really had nothing to do with comedy. It was like a serious kidnapping and murder kind of a thing. So I thought the movie just could have been so much better, and I think my high expectations kind of took that away. And kind of like ruined it for me. But, you know, I'm just being honest. I just thought it was just very funny, but just did not make it a good movie because of the comedy. You know, I'm going to probably start changing my grade of 1 to 10 to probably 1 to 5. The reason for that is I think 1 to 10 is just it's too many numbers. I think 1 to 5 is a better basis to really see what I think. I would give this movie a solid like 2.5 to 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going to say 3 because the comedy was on point. But the movie as a whole, no. It was definitely like a 2. But I'll say for a total, for everything, for everything involved in the movie, I would give it a definite 3 out of 5. You know, I really did like all the 90s stuff, but I just didn't think it was a great movie. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but I just really, that's how I felt. But you know, I really think that that Michael Bay just, you know, I used to love him with Jerry Bruckheimer, and I know Jerry Bruckheimer is no longer with us and stuff like that. And I just think his movies are just a little too much and a little too far-fetched with how things really are. I don't know. But anyway, you know, I keep looking forward to seeing more movies, and I think the next movie I want to check out is probably Iron Man 3. So be looking again for that in about maybe less than a week. But anyway, thank you again for watching and subscribing. And if you want to leave any comments at the bottom, you know, please do. I love to read what you think and what you think of the videos, of course. But until then, you take it easy and okay, bye.